my daughter-in-law is scheduled to have our third grandchild this Friday. And I'm so excited. This one's gonna be a girl. And so I have decided, since she is such a big pie lover, I am gonna make her a delicious peach and blackberry pie. So I hope that you'll enjoy this video. All of my peaches are ripe. I have some frozen blackberries, and so I'm actually going to go out and pick a few peaches, get some fresh ones off the tree, and we are going to make a delicious peach and blackberry pie. As you can see, I've got all kinds of peaches here ripe on my tree, so I am just going to pick some of these and get them ready for the pie. This year, these trees are beautiful, big, gorgeous peaches. There are a lot of peaches. I know it's hard to see. They're kind of in the middle and the back of the tree. And I'm just going through right now and trying to pick the largest peaches that I can find for my pie. I figure I'm only going to need about maybe 7 or 8 peaches right now. But I have been picking a lot of these peaches and really enjoying them over the last month. As you can see, they're just beautiful. Now this second tree is my pixie peach, and this is a little miniature peach tree. Again, these are nice sized peaches. I've got a lot of small ones, but I've got a lot of really nice big ones as well. Now the problem I had this year is that these are so low to the ground that I have had a problem with rabbits coming in and, you know, getting into these peaches. So I'm hoping that by putting this netting over it, it does help, I have to say. But by morning, they're kind of, you know, trying to figure out how to get in them, so. Well, the first thing I do when I pick my peaches, of course, is wash them. There's been all kinds of bugs and dirt and all kinds of things. So I just like to make sure that I can get them washed. Now I've got a mixture of white and yellow peaches here. I'm going to put them both inside of the pie. Along with some blackberries. All right. How dirty that water is. Just gonna let them dry on this little towel. And then we'll deal with these peaches a little bit later today. So the next step after all my peaches have had the skin removed is that I put in a cup of flour and a teaspoon of, I use pink Himalayan sea salt. I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup plus 1 tablespoon of really cold butter, and I'm going to cut that into little squares. I'm going to add that to the food processor, and then over the next couple of minutes, all I'm going to do is just process that for a few minutes in the food processor dry. And then I'm going to add a little bit of ice water to it. And I just find by doing this in the food processor that it really just brings the dough together really well. It just mixes all these ingredients. And when the dough's done, after the processing, it literally just holds together and it's perfect. This pie crust comes out perfect every single time. After I've blended my ingredients, I start adding a little bit of cold ice water to my food processor, and I just continue to, you know, add the water, mix it, add the water, mix it, and you'll see in the next minute or so, this dough will just completely hold together, and you won't really be able to keep turning it. It'll just be a ball of dough. I think it took about 3 to 4 tablespoons for this dough to hold together. And as you can see, it's starting to come together right now. And as soon as it's one ball, I actually just stop the machine and take it out of the mixer, out of the food processor. With the fresh fruit, I've cut it into slices. I put 1/4 cup of flour, 1 cup of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice into my fruit. And all I'm going to do at this time is I'm going to mix everything together. And I've decided after I got everything mixed together that I was going to add some of my home canned apple pie filling, which I have in my pantry. I just decided I'm going to kind of throw the peaches, a few blackberries, and some apple pie filling together. I wanted this to be a really full pie, and these apples were so amazing and so sweet. I just decided to add them to the peaches, and I'm glad I did. It was the perfect amount of pie mix, and the apples just added a really good flavor and a good texture. And this was only a pint, so I'm going to mix this whole thing together, and it just came out amazing. The flavors in it were just wonderful. The fresh peaches, 2 different kinds of peaches, a package of blackberries, and then a pint of the apple pie filling that was already pre-made. So I've preheated the oven to 425. Okay. I'm just throwing a little bit of flour down. I pulled my dough out of the refrigerator, and it's had about 20 minutes to just kind of sit and rest in there. And all I'm going to do is roll this out. I just need one bottom crust, and hopefully I'll get enough on the top that I can just, kind of have a little bit left over to do some lattice. I'm not looking to really cover the pie at this point. I didn't do a double pie crust. This is just a 1 pie crust. And like I said, this pie crust is really foolproof. By making it in the food processor, I know that I'm going to get a good product every single time. So I'm going to take my rolling pin and just kind of roll it out a little bit. I just want it to fit a 9-inch pie, and I'm going to roll it pretty thin because I want to get some extra, pie dough for the lattice. So that's what I'm doing right now. Here you can see I've picked up a 9-inch pie plate. All I'm doing is putting the pie dough right on top of it, and I can see that I have plenty of pie dough left, even after putting all of this in the bottom crust, that I'm going to have plenty left to do a little bit of lattice work. So I'm going as quick as I can. I've actually got my grandkids here this morning and they're dying to play video games with me, so I'm trying to get this pie in the oven. We usually play a few games and then we go out in the pool and swim, and good gracious, I don't know sometimes where I get the energy because I'm just so tired when they go home, but it's a lot of fun. This is their mom we're making this little pie for, so I know it came out real good. I'm always happy to make any kind of pastry. I love cooking, and especially when I have such great recipes and things that are so easy to put together. So all I'm going to do is tuck these little edges of this pie dough in, cut off any extra that's kind of around the bottom of the crust. I don't have too much, but that extra that I'm saving right there is what I'm going to be using to do my lattice. So excuse me, I'm just tucking everything in. I'm just going to make kind of a little fluted edge, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill up my pie plate and get started on the lattice work. This is going to be probably one of the fastest pies that I ever made. I literally made this pie in about 20 minutes, so it's shocking to me that it came out at all, but It did. And I love this particular little pattern that I do when I make my pie crust. You can see before I make this little design, um, it it really just looks kind of messy along the edges, but this is so easy, and it takes that leftover dough and it just makes it a beautiful little crust. So um, now all I'm going to do is throw my filling in, and I've got it all mixed together, and I'm going to just throw all that in. This is exactly the kind of pie that I like. I don't like them real flat and real thin amount of fruit. I don't want them bubbling over either, but I like to be able to bite into a nice piece of pie when I'm having pie myself. So this was just the perfect amount of fruit. And by putting the flour in after I cooked it, it really thickened it up a lot too. So right now I'm just rearranging some of these berries so you get berries in the various bites. This is the little bit of leftover dough that I had. It was just the perfect amount to make the lattice work. So I'm just gonna roll it out real quick. This was really super easy. It wasn't a fancy pie. It didn't come out super gorgeous, but it's gonna be a really good and a really delicious pie. This lattice, I'm just going to put maybe 4 or 5 lattice going each way on the pie, and I really just want to be able to have that look of the lattice, go across the pie so it looks nice and neat. And here I'm just mixing up a little bit of egg and water. I'm going to do a quick egg wash on the pie, and then I'm going to throw it in the oven. Well, this is my beautiful peach pie. It came out really, really, really good. I ended up putting a couple little tablespoons of butter on the top. They melted the last 10 minutes it was cooking, and the pie is just absolutely delicious. I actually was able to get a little bit off of the bottom of that aluminum foil. It kind of bubbled over, and it was yummy. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my video. Bye-bye.